Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. Perhaps you've heard of ChatGPT lately. It's an AI chatbot that can basically provide you answers to anything and everything. And being that it's a computer, it can make sure to provide you unbiased answers from websites, textbooks, articles, you name it. And besides housing basically all of the knowledge, the selling point is that it's constantly learning and it generates responses that are very easy to understand and very conversational-like. It's definitely a huge step up from sites like Ask Jeeves, which were promoted as having all the answers. So I thought it might be fun to see how ChatGPT handles finance topics, give it some questions, and see what kind of quality answers we get. Honestly, I don't know what to expect, so let's find out. My icebreaker question: what's the best way to get started investing? We actually got a pretty in-depth answer here. We even got steps you should take prior to getting invested. 1. Start with setting up some goals. 2. Assess your risk tolerance. Take some time to educate yourself. That's a huge one. You absolutely want to make sure you understand what you're doing with your money. Next, set a budget, start small, choose a place to invest. And it looks like AI does give a solid mention to robo-investors, so we have one robot recommending another. Soon they might take over. Next, choose some actual investments and then monitor your investments over time. Honestly, this is a really good Cliff Notes version on the steps necessary to get started investing. I love that it starts with setting some goals and assessing your risk tolerance. When you're investing, you absolutely want to have a plan. Why are you investing? Are you investing for a shorter term goal? Maybe 8 to 10 years from now you want to buy a home. Or is it a longer term goal? Maybe 40 years from now you're planning your retirement. Why are you investing? Having a goal set can give you a direction. It can help you to formulate a plan. And if you have a plan, it's easier to stick to that plan over time. It gives you a why, and a why can be very powerful. It can help you to be less reactive when the market or the economy throw you curveballs, as they inevitably do. It helps you to stay the course. The other mention, risk tolerance. This is huge as well. Know yourself. Understand how you respond to fluctuations in the market, or namely fluctuations in your portfolio. When you do, you can build a portfolio that suits your needs. I often like to refer to the pillow test. Build a portfolio that allows you to sleep soundly at night no matter what is happening in the market. Maybe you're fine having a portfolio that is 100% stocks because you have a very long time horizon. Perhaps 2022 and the S&P dropping 18 or 19% doesn't even cause you to bat an eye. But if that made you a bit squeamish, you're going to need to mix in some more stable investments into your portfolio. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just know yourself. So all in all, I think this was really great advice. When should you start investing? The best time to start investing is as early as possible, as this gives your investments more time to grow and compound over time. It even goes on to add, start investing as soon as you have a stable income and have built an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses. Okay, I love this response. We all know that we should be investing as early and as often as possible, but I love that they say you should have a solid emergency fund set aside first. It's such an important step. Have that emergency fund. Have funds to fall back on just in case there's a rainy day. But once you have that set up, it's full force, a pedal to the metal, all in on investing. But if you dive headfirst into investing without having an emergency fund set up, and then an emergency pops up, depending on where you've been investing, this money might be inaccessible. That's why it's so important to have this emergency fund. And I know there are people who are so excited to get investing, get their money put to work making money, that they don't want to wait until they have that fully funded emergency fund. In that case, it might help to remember that a Roth IRA can serve as a backup emergency fund. Those contributions you make to a Roth IRA can be withdrawn at any time for any reason, tax-free, penalty-free, regardless of age. Just make sure not to touch the earnings and really only do this in a true emergency as a last resort, because the money you put into a Roth is very powerful. It gets to grow completely tax-free and it's meant for long-term investments. So really only do this as a last resort. What percent of my income should I save? 20% of your income. This includes both short-term savings for emergencies and long-term savings for goals such as retirement. It's also important to note that the earlier you start saving, the less you may need to save in the long run due to the power of compounding interest. Even if you can only save a small percentage of your income, it's still better than not saving anything at all. Okay, AI, I am loving you. Can you get a better response than that? Yes, 20% is a great goal to to aim for. But if you can't hit that mark, start with something. Something is better than nothing, even if it's just 2%. Then work on inching that up over time. Start with something small. Saving something is better than saving nothing. How much house can I afford? Generally, it's recommended that you spend no more than 30% of your monthly gross income on housing costs, including mortgage payments, property taxes, and insurance. Your gross income is what you earn before any taxes or withdrawals are taken out, and I do think it seems a touch high. I think the most common recommendation is 28% of gross income. I tend to be even a little bit more conservative and strive to keep it at 25% of gross income. I like to keep fixed costs as low as possible because it frees up my income to just do more life with. However, with the rising cost of housing, more and more Americans are spending a greater percentage of their income on housing, which may be entirely unavoidable, especially in high costs of living areas. So all I can say is just be careful in this area, because if too much of your paycheck goes towards housing, it really limits what you can do outside of enjoying your home. How much car can I afford? Keep your total car-related expenses, including loan payments, insurance, and maintenance, to no more than 10 to 15% of your gross monthly income. This does fall in line with the old school rule of 24 and 10, where you put a 20% payment down on a car, you take a payment for no more than 4 years, and it's no more than 10% of your income. If you're a Money Guy fan, you know that they've taken this old school rule and tweaked it a little bit and made it slightly more conservative. Theirs is 23 and 8, so you have that same 20% down, but your payment's no more than 3 years, and it's no more than 8% of your income. Both are great, honestly. Growing up, my mom always told me to never take a car payment for more than 3 years, and then to keep my car for 10 years. That way I could enjoy many years being completely payment free. She never gave me any guideline as far as which percentage of my income it should be. I think 8% is good. I think 10% is good. I think if you get to 15%, it's actually kind of high, and it might feel like a lot of your income is going towards fixed expenses. So again, I just like to keep those fixed expenses low whenever possible. How much do I need to retire? Again, we have a very thorough answer, but they do give a mention to 3 solid approaches. The 4% rule, basing it on your expected expenses in retirement, or basing it on your pre-retirement income. I've talked about each of these approaches on this channel. Any and all of them can be a great foundation for a retirement plan. The question is definitely nuanced. None of them are perfect, but they're a great starting point. I do love that AI didn't say, oh, you need $1 million, because that's one I dislike. When you arbitrarily slap a random figure to it, like $1 million, and say everyone needs this in order to retire, it kind of is a little bit absurd, because you can't say that everyone needs a set amount without knowing anything about them, what their expenses look like, where they live, what their income sources are. So I do love that with each of the approaches that were suggested, that there's some semblance of individualization. What's the best way to succeed financially? Set a budget and stick to it. Sticking to it, yep, that's incredibly important. Invest in yourself. Yes, absolutely. Create multiple streams of income. That way you're never fully dependent on just one income source. Save and invest wisely, manage debt responsibly, and seek professional advice. Yeah, if you check all of those boxes, you're absolutely going to be winning with your finances. So 100%, good answer. What is a good expected rate of return for the stock market? 10%. I should have figured that it was just gonna go with the historical rate of return. The whole system is just based on facts, but I know it's a debated subject when running projections. Should you use a 6, a 7, 8, heck, even a 10% rate of return? I was just hoping to get an answer to that debate. How will the stock market do in 2023? Okay, I know this doesn't predict the future, and I don't think we're getting an answer here. I just thought it would be fun, but I may have broken it. Oops. Okay, one final question. What do you think of Erin Talks Money? Erin Talks Money is a popular personal finance YouTube channel that provides informative and engaging content on various money-related topics. Her videos are well produced and offer practical advice that can benefit viewers of all ages and financial backgrounds. That might be the nicest thing I've ever read about my channel. From now on, I'm only asking AI what it thinks of my channel. All in all, if you have some money questions, AI might be a good place to get you started and pointed in a right direction. Since its knowledge is essentially infinite, it's probably gonna have some answers. When it comes to finance, I do always think there's going to be a personal or a human component, because when assessing your individual situation, it involves looking at a lot of tangibles and intangibles, but there's no reason AI can't just be another tool in your toolkit. So let me know, would you be willing to ask AI some money questions? What questions would you ask? Share your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye.